Hey guys, welcome back to Mob Vlog. Adam Flowers here. It is October 29th, Wednesday, Redness Day. We got Red Wemette with us, and today we're going to be talking about the Vegas mob history, specifically Tony Spilotro, who he replaced, who was before him, who was after him, and much more. So welcome in, guys. If you're just getting here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new here. We're going to have some fun today. It's going to be some of our normal shenanigans. Welcome back, guys. Mob Vlog. Red Wemette, how you doing today?
I'm doing chipper.
Oh, fantastic. It's the end of October, believe it or not. And here we are on another episode of Mob Vlog, entertaining you guys out there. And, well, we're going to have a good time today. We're going to be talking about the Vegas mob history, something I talk about quite a bit on the Vegas mob tour, plug. And, yeah, we're going to have some fun here. Welcome in, guys. Looks like the whole crew's here. Scott H., Mickey Griggs, Benedict Mastriani. We got Christina Morris. She's our moderator, so behave, you guys. Dave M., Midwest Lee. It's nice to see you guys. Jared Sanders. Welcome in. I'm glad you're looking forward to this because so are we. So Vegas mob history, man. Wow. Is that a broad topic? And are we going to go all over the place today? So buckle up, guys. This one's going to be a doozy. Remember that from Groundhog's Day? It's a real doozy. First step's a real doozy. So Red knew Tony Spilotro. Red knew a lot of outfit guys, and we're gonna dig into it because Tony was coming out here way before he was sent out here in 1971 to kind of oversee the operations, make sure the Skim ran smoothly. They were taken off of the main hub, the Stardust, the Marina, the Hacienda, and the Fremont Hotel. Little trivia for you. The Marina is still on the Strip. Of course, it doesn't say the Marina, but it is there. And we'll tell you where a little later on this afternoon. So we got some trivia for you guys and whatnot. Awesome. So, Red, where do you want to start?
Why don't we start at the beginning?
That's usually good. That's usually a good place to start.
Before any of the people that we actually came in contact with or saw in the movie Casino, there was an overseer by the name of Johnny Roselli, and he was overseeing Las Vegas. And then I think the first person to actually go in was Marshall Caifano. He was going to guard the Skim, and that was in 1964. He went out there. I mean,
okay.
Before, I don't think if they were taking money, it didn't have to be that organized. They weren't taking that much, probably. But he was the first real guy that was out there, tough guy in town. Then after that, he went to prison for extortion of Ray Ryan in Las Vegas. And I think he went to Palm Beach or where you call it in California, Palm Springs, California. And he got arrested for extortion of Ray Ryan. He went to prison. And while he was in prison, Johnny Roselli was called back on, and they brought him out there.
Okay.
During that time, Adam, you can pick it up from there, because during that time, Tony was going out there from 1968, and Phil became boss about that time, that year. And Milwaukee Phil and Al DeRicio. And he kind of gave him a choice. It was him or Joey Lombardo that was going to go out there. And Joey said, "No, I want to stay in Chicago." And he was the adventurous type. He said, "No, we're going out there. I've been going out there anyway." They had something going with the Skim that it was a finder's fee, 1-point-something million. And he bought a pail company in Deming, New Mexico. But when he used to fly out there, he always used to stay in Vegas, but he wouldn't stay at the Stardust. He would stay at Circus. And I didn't know till years later that they took a piece of Circus. Chicago did. Through the finder's fee. That's where the money came from that he opened up his haberdashery with, or his gift shop, or, you know.
Anthony Stewart's Limited.
That's where the money came from. It came from a Teamster's loan, and they put it up
For the Stardust.
No, it was for.
I'm sorry, Circus.
Yes.
Yeah. Jay Sparno.
During my tenure there and down by American Bonding, they had a big bulletin board, and they had taken a loan from the Teamsters, and you could see they had to account for it to the government, and putting up all different kinds of things like payouts. But the real ones are here. It was on an easel, and the ones that weren't real, that they were trying to prove that they were always short 1 million was over on the other side. But at that time, they invested in Danny Seaford's Plastomatics, I believe was the name of it. And,
I was back in Chicago.
Right, in Bensenville. And then they also invested in the same company, same time, was a plastics company in Deming, New Mexico. It used to make toys. And then Tony had it making barrels, or not barrels, 5-gallon pails, cup. They put sweet pickles, dill pickles in them, condiments. You know, they put things in there. But they were 5-gallon. They were clean. They were nice. They were white. And,
well, they were new because they came right out of the plastic factory.
Yeah. So when he'd fly out back and forth, him and Irv Weiner, we get on. Irv was invested in too, but get on a plane that they bought a 707, and it was the first custom-made 707 I ever saw. I never saw one like that before. I saw some custom planes, but they weren't laid out like this one. This one had like a, I don't know, it's like a tiger skin design on the furniture that was in it. It was kind of way out, kind of wild for me.
Well, it was wild back in those days. So when we talk Vegas mob history, you know, the whole town, I mean, you go back and look at how the town got started, the railroad and the Boulder Dam project and how it expanded. And there's a lot of talk, you know, Benjamin Siegel, you know, I have a vision with his, you know, Warren Beatty movie, which is so far from the truth. But that whole thing, you know, the mob starting Las Vegas and getting its digs in here. Chicago, though, when they came out, I mean, they were pretty heavily involved right from the get-go.
They were, and to have them go out there, I get a kick out of the movie. In the movie Casino, Robert De Niro says, "Now there's a real gangster in town." There were gangsters there way before Tony.
Well,
pardon?
Well, way even before Benjamin Siegel. I mean, when you know you're talking you want to talk gangsters, you know, not specifically mobsters, but Benny Binion, you know, came out with 2 suitcases full of money, paid off damn near every judge and politician and cop there was in town. I believe he was supposed to be extradited twice to Texas for murder, which was overturned by local judges. So this town, I mean, that's in the movie Casino. They even say, "Oh, there's cowboys downtown. They got sawdust joints." You know, not everybody even knows what that means. You know, but back then they had wooden floors in the casinos, and next to the tables they put spittoons and they'd sprinkle sawdust on the floor around the spittoon in case you missed. You know, so
Sweep it up.
it was a rough and rowdy kind of crowd that was out here in Las Vegas. So, you know, when they started building up the strip, you know, and a lot don't know this too, but Guy McAfee, who was basically he was a crooked cop from Los Angeles, born in Winfield, Kansas, back in 1888, came out and working for the Vice Squad, and he's going around in these joints going, "Fuck my pension, I'm going to go out to Vegas and go run a legal joint." And he opened the Golden Nugget a few months before Benjamin Siegel opened up the Flamingo. So the town has a ton of history as far as, and you know what's funny too? I feel like Vegas has kind of run its course. I mean, I hate to say it in that way, but with smartphones and gambling apps and dating apps, people don't have to come to Vegas to, meet girls, get drunk, and place bets. It sounds really, but it's always evolving. Vegas has always evolved since the beginning. But back to Chicago outfit. The main hub was the Stardust, which they received that loan, the Argent Corporation, from Jimmy Hoffa, from the Teamsters, and built up the Stardust. Start building it.
But there were other properties involved in that loan. The Hacienda del Sol, or Hacienda, not Hacienda del Sol. That was a restaurant. The Hacienda and what were the Fremont? Mm-hmm. Wasn't it the Fremont?
Hacienda, Fremont, the Marina, which the Marina, you guys know the MGM Grand, big Emerald Palace out on the Strip. The Marina stood right there on the corner of Tropicana and the Strip on the northeast corner. And when the MGM decided to buy that property, build it out, they skinned the Marina Hotel and they worked it into the architecture plans of the MGM Grand and threw green glass on it. So if you're ever in Vegas staying in the MGM and you're like a little podunk room, tiny little, looked like it was built in the 60s.
It was.
People were smaller, and the doorways were not as wide. You're staying in the Marina. So, yeah, it's
I will say the Stardust was the flagship. They called it the flagship, and it was the flagship. And the biggest unique thing about the Stardust was all the ones on the Strip in those days were expensive. I mean, they were like $200 some a night. And back in those days, people couldn't afford that in the 60s. So I think it was 1957, 1958 that Accardo turned around and said, I got an idea. What we're going to do here is we're going to take the Stardust and we're going to build all these smaller rooms in the back. It's like a motel instead of a hotel. And you can rent a room for $35, $45 a night. And it was, I think it was $22 or $23 a night in the beginning. But it was one of those things that the working man could go there and lose his paycheck. He didn't have to stay in them. And they were nice rooms. I stayed in one. They're not that bad. But,
all of them had little names too. Each wing, it was a one-story. You don't want to say motel because it was a hotel, but it was one story. Back even when you visited and stayed there, they were all one story, and they all had little names like Neptune and Uranus, and all the Mars.
They're all named after planets.
Right.
They started out with Mercury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a different time, different place back then. You're right. It did cost more, but it was, Vegas was supposed to be, you dressed up, you got all, you put on your nice clothes. Back in those days, you got on the airplane, you lit your cigarette up. When you went to the pool, you changed clothes, and then when it was dinner time and time to go see the show, go in the showroom, you got dressed up again. People weren't running around like they are in Vegas with flip-flops and cargo shorts and Hawaiian shirts on. I mean, it wasn't like that.
Conscious in the casino, they were dress conscious, very dress conscious.
Yeah, it was expected.
You had to have a dinner jacket on at that time to be in the casino. Back in 1958, 59, 60, or in the 60s, you had to have a dinner jacket on to be in the casino. They did not want you running around like an open collar shirt like this. They just didn't have it. Nobody did. And the dealers, everybody there was dressed they were really dressed in nice attire. And that was before, when I got out there, they didn't have female dealers. They didn't come out till later. But when I first got there, it was all female, or all males, all men dealing. They just didn't have any female dealers. I forget what year that happened where they let female dealers come in. And they didn't have shoes then either to work out of a shoe. It was all decks of cards. If they didn't like the cards, they just took them, tore them up, and started all over again with a new deck.
Different time, different place, totally different time back then. Not everybody knows this, by the way. The Stardust sign, the old sign from the Stardust, that was supposed to represent a mushroom cloud. That's what that was, from all the atomic testing that they did out here. I mean, we detonated almost 1,000 nuclear weapons just 60 miles north of the 60 miles, 90 miles northwest of the Nevada, of the Strip was the Nevada test site. And so they used to have parties, atomic parties, and they'd advertise it. Come on out. We'll have atomic drinks, atomic cocktails. The women, they'll wear their hair in an atomic hairdo, big mushroom cloud on their head. And, at 2 a.m, we'll go up to the rooftop and see the flash and watch the cloud go up in the air, as you can see there. So that sign was supposed to be a mushroom. Get it now? Stardust, the radiation, the fallout, the whole. Yeah, it was all kind of geared towards that. So
they used to joke about that. They used to joke about that back then, back in the 60s.
What'd they say?
I can't word it exactly the same because it's not, we can't move because the government's not going to move. So we got to live with this garbage. And I guess we'll just go with the hotel the way it is. And they didn't like the idea of radiation. They thought that they were getting poisoned. And they said we'd come out here and get ourselves killed. And it really wasn't that way, but it was called live with it. There's
some documentaries out there about some of the Native American reservations that were off to the sides of the test site where that radiation blew through, and a lot of those tribal members said that there's big cancer problems through it because of the atomic testing. But I hear now you can go visit the test site, so it's safe. It's safe. That's what they say.
They went out there with Geiger counters, many, many months or years before they let anybody on it.
Yeah, it's safe. Oh, it's back then. It's just a little radiation. Take a shower. You'll be fine. Trust us. We're with the government. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure. Hey, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're just coming in, drop your comments in the comment section. We're going to read some of your comments off and see Paulie Walnuts. The early 90s, the Stardust rooms were not very nice. They were pretty old by then. I mean, you're talking 30 years, they had 30 years on them. So that's what when they built
they had more than 30 years on them.
Yeah, they had what?
70s, 60s. They had more than 30 years on them then.
Yeah, they were built in the 60s, and in the 90s, they had about 30 years on them.
I think they were built in 1960.
They had 30 some years on them.
They had a thing where Ricardo said back in 1957, 58, he said, when they put that sign up, how old's that sign?
Yeah.
Stardust. How old's that sign?
Yeah. They changed it too. I believe the original sign looked like a planet that had the stars around it and whatnot. I don't know when the idea to change it to the mushroom cloud, when that happened. Probably the Yesco sign company built it, the Young Electric sign company. Mr. Hoffman, speaking of signs, I've noticed the neon signs back then seemed much larger and spectacular than they are today. The Stardust sign was elaborate. It was. And, all of them back then, the architecture style was called Googie. Not Google, but Googie. And Googie, Googie. And it was, the 60s. Everything was steel and glass and neon lights. And you had the big boomerang signs. And, back when the car wash had the big, everybody built in that architecture style. But the signs back then were just amazing. And if you do get a chance to come to Vegas, the Neon Museum is fantastic to check out and see all the old signs, especially at night. They light them up. They just did a lighting the El Cortez, not the one that's up there now, but I guess the original one that was on the front. They just lit it up the other day in the Neon Museum. So they had a sign lighting ceremony. So Jim Magnifici, some of your Italian cousins is Italian. You had to put Italian in there. Magnifici. I hope they're Italian. Well, you never know. Where can they get info about the tours? Right down here at the bottom of the screen, Vegas Specialty Tours, and tell them to use that promo code MOVLOG, 20% off. Makes it like $100 a ticket. So yeah, Ron Roos, the Holiday Inn Hotel, which before was the Holiday Inn on the Strip, they had a big, or when it would look like a big boat, paddle boat on the Strip. They included the architecture into Harrah's, just like the marina for the. I didn't know that. Very interesting. Thanks, Ron. Had no idea. So, yeah.
Actually, I just looked it up, Adam, and it was they said 1958 Moe Dalitz had the Stardust, and it was taken over gradually in late 1958, 59. The sign was made in 1958, and 1959 the rooms were built behind it. 1960 they were open.
Got it. Now, Moe Dalitz, for those of you that aren't aware of who Moe had a big hand in this town. Big hand in this town. And he had his fingers into everything around here. He opened the Stardust in the Desert Inn. What the hell am I saying? It said Wilbur Clark's Desert Inn on the sign. And if you back it up, Moe was born in 1899 on Christmas Eve. He was from Boston, and he ran with the Mayfield Road Crew, the Purple Gang. During Prohibition, he used his family's linen trucks to get the booze in from Canada. And he's the one he got acquainted, because he needed drivers for the trucks, with Jimmy Hoffa. That's how they became acquainted. Then when Prohibition ended, he enlisted in the Army, became a first lieutenant, served the country during World War II, and all the scuttlebutt was about Las Vegas and the Flamingo, so he made his way out here. Here's a photo of Moe. He made his way out here and got a loan from the Cleveland mob. So Cleveland, their stakes in the Desert Inn. And so, but Moe did so much after building the Desert Inn. He partnered with Merv Adelson, Sheldon Adelson's father, to build the Las Vegas Country Club and the Regency Tower, which is still there today. We used to have a horse race track on the Strip. That was his idea. The car race track, the first car race track, which now they decided to run the car race track through the middle of town. Traffic's all screwed up out here for the Formula FU race that's happening in Vegas. But Moe Dalitz, he supported the public library district when it went defunct. Put up middle-income housing for the workers, casino workers. I mean, Moe Dalitz did so much, but I did not know he had a stake in the Stardust. But you said you just looked that up?
I looked up the Stardust sign and it had his name in there, 1958.
Wow, very, very interesting. Scott H., you are on to something about people getting cancer from all the fallout. Oh my God, the Genghis Khan movie. John Wayne was one of the most famous cancer victims from all the fallout after the Genghis Khan inspired film. He played Genghis Khan. What a shit! I watched it a couple of months ago just to watch it. What the hell were they thinking, even making that movie? But there was something like, and I don't want to give the exact numbers here, but it was something like 170 people that were involved in that film, and like 70 of them ended up with cancer. And they did. They filmed it not far from the test site in the Nevada desert. So it's pretty wild. Mitch Firm, 4,400. First time you're catching a live. Well, welcome in, Mitch. Glad to see that you're finally catching us live. And drop your questions in the comments. So we'd love to see what you think. We got a birthday in the house, and that would be Michael Warden, 53rd. Happy birthday, Michael. Hope you're having a wonderful hope you're having a wonderful day. I don't know what the hell you're doing watching us on your birthday, but for what reason would he be watching us on his birthday?
He's got nothing better to do.
I tell you, he's got something to do. He's got to blow that prairie fire out on top of his cake. So Elizabeth, if Hunter Thompson, here we go, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, met Frank and Lefty, if only he met Frank and Lefty, would love to hear what old timers thought of the novel and the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's my mentors in that movie. Robert Allen, he's right at the end. He's grabbing the top of the car when they're returning. He's like, I can't get this damn thing down. He's trying to put the roof down. That was Robert's line. Can't get this damn thing down. So yeah, there was a lot of back to the atomic testing. Let's talk a little bit about that. There was a lot of fallout around. What the hell were they thinking? I mean, like I say, they had to test somewhere.
Well, the government didn't know that there was going to be that much damage from fallout, because remember they went to New Mexico. What was that the name of the town in New Mexico?
Los Alamos.
Yes, and that was on the desert also. It was in the middle of nowhere. And when they saw the damage that was done, they said, okay, we'll move this to another spot now. They moved it to Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, why not? I mean, middle of the desert, it's a good place to do some testing. And you're right, Scott H. They didn't stop the testing until the early 90s out here, which is amazing that they were still doing it. I think there were underground tests at that point. But still, yeah, Mr. Hoffman.
When I was there, they were doing it underground.
Yeah, well, they did above and under for, I guess back they first started, though, it was all above ground. So
we used to talk about that and say they won't be getting any sand for out of here or anything out of here for years. It's going to be there for 100 years, we thought.
Here we go to movies. A scene in James Bond Diamonds Forever where he drives down the strip, and the signs are unbelievably intricate. They were back then, too. Yeah. I remember even as a kid in the 80s looking at the Circus sign and all the light bulbs and all the neon that was flashing. And, you know what kind of computer it took to run those things back then? Now this phone could run everything in Vegas on the unbelievable. So very true. No one knows just how dangerous radioactivity was. Ever hear of the Radium Girls? Red?
No.
I haven't either.
I haven't heard.
Back to that James Bond film, though. They had some propaganda in the movies, too. Like I said earlier, take a shower, you'll be fine. They showed James Bond going through a series of sprayers to get the radiation off of them. I mean, they were showing the movies going, hey, this is it, you're fine. So, all right, Jim Yeager, Moe Dalitz. Let's talk Moe again. He helped build Sunrise Hospital in Vegas. Now, Sunrise is at the corner of Desert Inn and Maryland Parkway. It's on the northeast corner. And it's a children's hospital now. Anyway, it's got a children's wing in the hospital, one of the best in the country. But that was the second Teamsters pension fund loan from from Jimmy Hoffa. Moe Dalitz acquired it. Back in those days, if you had any kind of serious thing happen to you, you had to be airlifted to Los Angeles. And chances were, if it was serious, that you weren't going to make it. So Sunrise Hospital was the second loan. Anybody know what the first loan for Vegas was? Put it in the comments. The first Teamsters pension fund loan from Jimmy Hoffa. So Scott H. went to the Atomic Testing Museum last spring. That's pretty cool. It's on Flamingo. It's right down the street from the Tuscany Suites and Casino, where we pick up and drop off for the Vegas mob tour. So Jim Magnifici, when your Italian cousins come to town, that's where we pick up and drop off at the Tuscany.
We're getting some answers here. Big Mo says it was the Stardust.
Scott McTaggart's got it. It's the mall, Boulevard Mall. That was the very first Teamsters loan. Back then, you had to order from the Sears Roebuck's catalog and wait 8 or 12 weeks for your order to get out here by rail car. So the mall, bringing all the big department stores out here, made living in the desert much more comfortable and palatable on the locals. Big Moe, boo. Mr. Hoffman. So I don't know if I have this story right or not, but I will. I'm gonna tell you guys this story. There was a church out here called Saint Viator, and they parishioners got together, built a church on it. They bought a piece of land. It's on the corner of Eastern Avenue in St. Louis, and they built a big, beautiful church. And within a year, the church crumbled, started to fall down. It was condemned, had to be torn down. They built it on top of the city's old landfill. Didn't know it was a landfill. Didn't know you couldn't build on a landfill. I have no idea.
They had a permit.
I don't know. Did you need a permit back then to do things? And wouldn't they have told them that hey, there's a,
it's okay. It's spilled. They didn't know that it was going to give it a did.
So, here we go. So I found it. So so they're holding mass on picnic tables beneath tents in the parking lot. By the way, if you look this up on the church's website, you are not going to find any of this information. Okay. The church doesn't want to admit that the mob built the church. Okay. But here's what happened. So the church fell down, they're holding mass, and Moe Dalitz is sitting there, and he dropped an envelope in the offering plate, had a check for $1 million. Well, the priest came up to him after church and said, we appreciate this, very kind of you, but we can't accept this money. It's dirty money. It's from gambling, drinking, and prostitution, and Lord only knows where you got the money. So he took the check back. The next week, the new priest of the church called up Moe and said, we'll gladly take that $1 million.
It was replaced.
So Moe said you got to have multiple church services because his workers work in third shift, swing shift, graveyard. They can't get to church on Sundays. So you got to have multiple church services. So next to the Desert Inn Casino, which the Desert Inn's to be the corner of Desert Inn and the Strip, which is now the Encore Tower, but right north of it is the Guardian Angel Cathedral. And that was where part of the money built the church, Guardian Angel Cathedral. The other part of the money went to St. Viator, which was rebuilt on the corner of Flamingo and Eastern Avenue, the southeast corner. And so I believe Tony Spilotro went there. His family members still go there, according to one of them that I met, still members there at that church. So anyway, they rebuilt the church, and they have services round the clock over there. It's like Saturdays at 2:34 and 5:30, Sundays at 8, 9:30, 11, 12:30, and 5, and weekdays at 8 and 12, 10. I don't know if they're back up to speed or not. Since COVID, they changed the sign. But this is the stained glass inside the church. This is part of it at the Guardian Angel Cathedral. I'm going to show you a photo. You guys aren't going to believe this. 2 sisters from Budapest, Hungary, did the stained glass work. I believe there's a total of 14 windows, maybe 15 it's 14 in the stained glass. And this is depicted in the stained glass. There is the Stardust Casino, the Landmark Casino, the Sands, the Desert Inn, and the Dunes are all depicted. Here it is. So let me get that comment off the screen here. There you go. So you see down at the bottom the Sands and the Stardust. And if I remove the banner, you can see Don and Leon, Gift of Don and Leon at the very bottom there. Who paid. And there's a jester holding the comedy and tragedy theater mask. That's in the stained glass at the Guardian Angel Cathedral. It's pretty wild. And you go there today, it's still there. I mean, you stand in there and look at it, and it's pretty wild.
Is that the Space Needle in the background?
That's the Landmark.
Okay.
The Landmark Casino stood at the corner of Casino Center Drive and Paradise. It was on the northwest corner. And so that's actually...
They didn't call it the Space Needle way back when?
No, the Space Needle's up in Seattle, Washington.
Okay. I'm confused.
Okay. Yeah, the landmark, which looks a lot like the Stratosphere, except the landmark wasn't quite as tall. It was, I don't know, maybe it was 15, 20 stories tall at the most. The valet entrance to the landmark, the landmark was still there in '94 when they filmed Casino, and that's the valet entrance that they use in the movie. At least one of them. They used the Plaza Hotel downtown as well. But when De Niro welcomes back Mr. Ichikawa, the gambler, who they make his plane breakdown, comes back to the casino, that's the entrance to the landmark. So a little casino trivia for you guys.
Those lights lit up, all those lights at
yes.
What do they call that thing? A
valet area.
Yeah, but what's the roof called that comes out? Where the lights were all on it coming down.
That's the valet. The parking valet. Yeah. It was 31 stories. Thank you.
The canopy. The canopy with all the lights on it.
Yeah, it was canopy, I guess they would call it. A canopy. I don't know if there's a special word for that or not, Red.
Okay.
Forgive my ignorance. I don't know. I just know it's the valet area with it. Lit canopy. So, and Spartan, thank you. 31 stories. I've only seen pictures. I never stood and looked at it. At least if I did, I don't remember. I'd have been too young. I might have seen it as a kid, but I don't remember that. The only thing that sticks out in my mind when I was 10 was the giant clown with the spinning lollipop, and the arcade with the nickel machines. But anyway, back to the mob.
Before we get to the mob, or it's part of the mob, but before we get to that section you're going to in era of time, way back in the beginning, aside from the Catholic Church, there was a tremendous Mormon settlement there. And the Mormons used to loan to the casinos. There was only one guy, though. And he was called out, and he was almost asked to leave the Mormon church because they don't believe in gambling. And so he said, no, I'm just doing the real estate deals. I invest in the properties. I don't invest in the gambling. But that was when they had so much money, but the banks would not lend to a casino, to open up a casino.
Well, that was one of the reasons that the Teamsters pension fund loan, which initially Jimmy Hoffa, then it was Red Dorfman, and then Alan Dorfman, correct? That were in charge of that?
Yeah, Jimmy Hoffa he put Red Dorfman in charge of it, but he was actually calling the shots on the loan. Red Dorfman wasn't really calling the shots, but he was in charge of it. They had a board. The Teamsters pension fund had a board that would meet on the pension fund because that was your pension if you were a Teamster. And it was very heavy. I mean, you're talking millions of members that would put in, so much a year. Every month they put it in, every week out of a paycheck. And that's when people got paid every week. They got paid on Fridays every day. Wasn't no 2 weeks, in between paychecks back then. But there was a lot of money involved in it. And like I said, Red Dorfman really didn't make the loans himself. He was on the board that approved them, but Jimmy Hoffa used to tell everybody he had control of everything in an iron fist until he was gone.
Yeah.
Then, after he was gone, Alan Dorfman took over.
I can't imagine the Mormons giving loans to startup casinos. You imagine Mormon slot machines? You drop in your silver dollar. Come on, give me 2 John Smiths and a Brigham Young. Shit. Oh, 3 wives. All right. Two Joseph Smiths and a Brigham Young. Damn, can I get a 3rd Joseph Smith?
No, actually, did you look it up? actually going back, I think it's to 19. They were out there like in 1800s, but I think it was like 1950 something. There was a guy that was part of the church making loans on the places back in those days. Pre-World War II.
Ron Roos, the drive-up or valet canopy is called a porte-cochere. Porte-cochere.
Yes.
Porte-cochere. There you go. It's a French term.
No, with a name like that?
Porte-cochere. No one wants to pronounce it wrong, so they don't use it, Ron. Well, hell, you know how many people that I've walked up and tell me, hey, the meeting point is at the valet, and they go, what's this valet? Where's this valet? Where's the valet? The valley? Where's the valley? It's the valet. Give your keys to the valet. That's all right. Look we're from Chicago. They say Desplaines, the Desplaines River. Again, that's another French word.
In Illinois.
In Illinois. Got to go to Illinois. I was watching some reporters on TV they're talking to the cops. Oh yeah, it's Illinois. We're gonna do great work in Illinois. Holy shit!
I love to hear. I really don't like. I'm saying that sarcastically. AI when they talk about Joliet, Illinois.
Yeah.
They say Juliet, Illinois instead of Joliet. Juliet.
I thought it was Joliet.
It is, but if you listen to AI, they're going to say Juliet, Illinois.
You said Joliet.
That's what Joliet is.
I thought it was Joliet.
Okay. I came from the north side of Chicago. I didn't come from where you came from.
All right, we aren't here for a fucking spelling bee. We're here to talk about the mob, damn it.
Joliet's for the long O, and we called it Joliet, like happy Joliet.
Yeah, no, we said Joliet as well. It looks like it's spelled Joliet is why never mind. I'm just busting your balls.
Listen to it on AI, and they're going to tell you it's Juliet. They say Juliet, Illinois.
Well, I thought it was the Juliet. Is that where the Juliet School of Arts is? The Juliet Performance? Yeah. That's the Juilliard. Never mind.
Yeah, really no one like about Joliet is the Rialto Theater that's there.
There we go. Did the mob build it?
They must have had something to do with it because they had a lot to do with that area. I mean, that whole town, Joliet, was a subdivision. Like it's like going to Cicero.
Yeah, all right. What's up, Tom? Yeah, it's semantics. It really is. Tom's from Calumet City, so everybody in Calumet City says things all crazy. So it does. But yeah, 49 days today, no drinking. Today's 49 days. I feel pretty good too. Getting a little color back in my face. So all right. The Jim Yeager, 2023. The Mormon Church had an estimated net worth of $265 billion. Okay, so they made some loans though to the mob. The Mormon fort's still here in town. You can visit it. I think it's $3 a person to go through, and you see the first flag that flew. The first flag that flew above the Mormon fort. First flag that flew in the state of Nevada, just above the Mormon fort. Tommy's at 35 days. Right on, Tommy. Keep it going, Tom. That's great, man. It feels good. So, yeah, it feels really good. So Jim Magnifici got his cooking award from Juliet. It's hanging in his front room. Front room.
Yeah, I got it.
It's all right. Red used to go to the Villa Venice.
Villa Venice.
Villa Venice.
That was the first word that I learned. Villa Venice.
Villa Venice.
I was like 9 or 10 years old when that was done.
Yeah. So back to let's get back to where we started here. So Tony Spilotro was sent out in 71, and Tony replaced you said was it this is Johnny Roselli, picture
Right.
Johnny Roselli. Then you got Marshall Caifano, who came
Yeah,
out.
he was like the first that was sent out there to guard the Skim.
Marshall was.
Yes.
You know that he got thrown out of the El Rancho. Belden cattlemen who owned the El Rancho threw him out, and 2 nights later, that place mysteriously burned to the ground.
Yes, I do. He told me.
Uh-huh.
He told me the story about it.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, Marshall had a lot of old time story. When I met him, he was 68 years old. So I knew him till he was like into his 70s. But he had a lot of old time stories, you know, about the old days back in Chicago and back in Vegas too. But he used to talk. He talked about. He said, "What's the guy? Ray Ryan." He said when we were extorting. He didn't say extorting. We're trying to get the money from Ray Ryan. He said they got it all wrong. The newspapers got it all wrong. Even the courts had it all wrong. Ryan went to them, and he went to the FBI and said he needed help. But he said we actually went over Johnny Delmonico. He said it happened in a car. He said they had Ryan in the middle of a car. The other things that were said in court say it happened in the casino where Ryan got behind. I think it was Jimmy the Greek or somebody was gambling, and he said he owed him from the gambling. He was cheating. He said, that guy's cheating. Marshall, go get his. Will you get my money for me? Marshall said, yeah, for a percentage. And him and Johnny Monaco went after him. So, like I said, some of the accountings have him in the casino, Ryan, hiding on a valet that's, you know, a coat thing. And then he starts to run afterwards, and he hollers out behind him. He says, that's right. Shoot me in the back, you cowards. That's the way you do it in Chicago. Now, that's what some accounts had to it. Marshall's accounting to me was he was in his limo, and Johnny Delmonico got in one side, and he got in the other. They kind of put the squeeze on him in the middle. And he told him, according to him, he said, if you give me $1 million a year, we won't kill you. And then he was going to go back and bring the gambling debt, the whole amount, which was a small amount, 100,000 or something like that. He was going to give them and then keep the difference. But that isn't what was said in court. It was a whole different ballgame. But I got his accounting of it. It was worse. His accounting wasn't as bad, but he did get convicted, and it cost him 10 years in prison. And he did the full 10. I mean, that was bad. And before he went, I believe he was the first guy to be in the Black Book. Wasn't he the first guy that was outlawed? In 1955, he changed his name. When he was out there in 1955, he legally changed his name to Johnny Marshall. When his name was Marshall Caifano, he legally changed his name. 1955. He was quite a jerk. Yeah, look at
first guy in the Nevada Black Book was Frank Costello. Frank Costello,
New York mobster.
Although it was initially created in response to the actions of Benjamin Siegel. So they say Frank Costello was it. But Tony Spilotro was put in the Black Book. There's even a guy I know out here in Vegas now who's in the Black Book. Can't go into a casino. Can't step foot in a casino. So,
well, you can't step foot on their property. You can't even park in their parking lot.
No way to make a living in this town either, because any place that has a casino license, you're not allowed to go. So, hey guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Smash the like button. Hey mom, the answer to that quiz question was the mall. Boulevard Mall was the first Teamsters pension fund loan. The second was the Sunrise Hospital. So that's yeah. You put a comment up, Red?
No, I was the Thomas turned around and said,
"You don't middle finger with Marshall."
No, I thought he was a nice old man until I heard stories about him from FBI agents and other people. I said, "You mean this guy's dangerous?" And they said, "Oh yeah." He's dangerous.
It's dangerous, and I'm hanging around with him. What the hell am I thinking?
I was with him almost every day. We used to go to the restaurant and have breakfast and everything. I just looked at him as a nice old man.
That's what everybody says about these guys. He was a nice old man. You didn't know when they were younger, but yeah, a nice old man. Why not?
But he had a lot of
Sorry?
he had a lot of stories to tell me. And quite a few of them were from Las Vegas.
Man. Well, he did spend a lot of time out here, so yeah, that would make sense.
Well, not really. He spent a lot of time in prison. But he was away from Chicago during that time. When he got out of prison, he was very talkative because he'd done his time. He could get away with a lot of things.
Right. Spent a lot of time in prison. You probably have some prison stories too.
Not many. He didn't like to talk about prison at all.
Yeah.
He was in Atlanta, and then he was in Lexington. He was in quite a few prisons. I think that was before they classified him. You know, classifications like high security, medium security, that sort of thing.
Got it. Hey, I got a message from Father Charlie. So Father Charlie is a priest down in Laughlin, and he was just watching here on Mob Vlog, I believe on Facebook, and sent me a message. He said, I was listening to you about Saint Vita's in the Guardian Angel Cathedral. I know exactly where that stained glass window is in the cathedral. Yes, Charlie, just to the front right of the altar. When you're sitting in church, if you look to the right of the altar, that's where it is. I love the mention of the Landmark Casino. I remember going back there and watching a show by Henson Cargill. It was raining so hard, only 20 people came out for the show, but he did a whole show and hung around talking to us afterward. Glad you're doing well, Charlie. It's good to hear from you. And I'm sure Charlie's been in that church more than once. So it's pretty wild stuff. Red did not get the question that I sent him last night. And so I'm going to put it up and see if you guys know the answer to it. If this damn thing.
The movie?
Yeah. Yeah, the movie question. Did you see the message I sent?
Didn't even recognize the movie.
Didn't even recognize it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put it up here if this thing will let me here. I don't know why it's not pulling this up. Oh, my internet's crazy today or something. Take a look here. I'm gonna put it up and see if you guys recognize it. I said to Red, guess which movie I'm watching, and do you believe this? And it won't show it to me. Anyway, we're almost out of time anyway. Guys, if you're coming in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for showing up and listening to a little bit of Vegas mob history. It's been fun. We're gonna go over to Red's channel on YouTube. If you guys haven't been there, go check it out. Red Wemette on YouTube. We'll be over there. Red, I'll see you next week, buddy.
Take
Everybody
care.
else, God bless. Have a great week, and we'll see you next.